Okay, so if you're watching this shortly after Memorial Day, I hope your day was restful and rewarding. I'm now going to attempt to harvest these medieval manuscripts from these boards as a precursor to actually doing the restoration. So the boards are really hanging on by dear life. The actual raised bands failed a long time ago. With the front cover here, you can see the sort of first gathering is actually attached to the board like this. Now, if you see my other restorations, you'll know that I tend to use a piece of fabric that comes up and then gets glued to the board underneath the paste down. So these are in the way. So I'm going to have to remove and then re-sew this initial gathering. So apologies, I'm going to be cutting straight through the previous restoration of these pages. Want to just be really sure I'm not cutting through a fragment, which I'm not. These guys we're going to put to one side and we will re-sew and reattach them. Now we're in a position just to snip through the remaining threads here. And that releases our first board. Same thing on the back. Same problem. Again, we have another gathering here. So we'll release these pages. These are only very loosely attached. It's just literally snipping through the threads here. So we'll have to. Okay. So those can stay there. And then again, as you can see, this is only held in place by a couple of loose threads. So just go through that and make sure that you're not actually harming the fragment when you do it. You can see we've already got some really interesting Oh yeah. This is going to be fascinating to get into. So, as you can see, all this manuscript down here. So we'll put our text block to one side to be you see that's very degraded there. This piece of manuscript's been it's been a mouse or something. It's like nommed away at that. Hopefully there'll be a piece under here that we can recover. So I think these are sort of half comb designed. So unlike the way in which I restore books, which is I always put card on the outer surface, this manuscript actually sort of hooks underneath and is glued to the inner surface. And that's because the way I do these restorations is I use fabric to attach on the inner surface and card on the outside. There was no fabric used, I guess 400 years ago, just glue and manuscript. So this was attached to the inner side. So what we're going to have to do is to recover this section of comb that's going to be like a strip under here. So what we're going to do is gently see if we can actually get a very blunt blade between the comb and the cardboard. Now what's going to make life slightly difficult is the last few threads are actually still around the leather there. So I'm just going to make sure those are loose. So we'll just break the leather because frankly the leather's disintegrating anyway. And then that releases the comb in such a way that I can now get a really, really blunt blade going between the comb and the cardboard, like so. So what I'm now going to do is ever so gently use in fact I'm going to use an even blunter blade, which is this guy. This is literally the bluntest blade in the house. And I can actually see the structure of the comb there. And if we're really lucky, we'll get some contiguous text, or continuous text I should say, more accurately. What I'm trying to do is to minimize the amount of card that's actually adhered to the manuscript. Obviously I want the board itself to be as intact as possible, as well as the minimum amount of cleaning that I need to do of the actual comb when I post-extraction. So soon I should be able to start to get a view of the real dimension of the comb. We'll see how deeply it goes underneath the board. Obviously the more deeply it goes, the more chance we have of getting a piece of a decent manuscript here. Well, I've already gone a reasonable distance. Haven't gotten to the edge of it. Yes, this is nice. This looks like a big-ish piece of manuscript. Yeah, no, I'm still. Oh wow! Look at that. That's how big it is. Look at that. That's a really decent size. So it's going to be fascinating to start the cleaning process after we've performed the extraction. So now what I'm going to do is gently get the blade Now, manuscript as a rule is really robust. That's why it was used for this. Paper and card a lot less so. So we'll actually put up with a reasonable amount of what would appear to be quite brutal treatment, given its age. In actual fact, here we go. Let's see what we have. Wow. Oh my God, look at that. The first time in 400 years. You saw it here first, folks. Now for the really fun bit. We're going to do the same to the backboard. And let's see if the two pieces go together. That would be stunning. Same process. Now, I should make a, I guess a moral point here. This book has a bright future. this book is going to be restored in exactly the same ways you've seen me restore other books. So I don't feel any particular guilt about harvesting this manuscript, because both the manuscript and the book have a chance now to, what's the best way I can put this? Be additive to humanity go forward in a way in which this book in its sort of previous sorry state was not. That being said, please do not buy books speculatively for the purpose of hoping that there's manuscript. The first thing I'll say with it's unfortunately quite shocking is that things can be simultaneously priceless and valueless, and manuscript falls into that category. So most medieval manuscripts is really not worth very much, and certainly not worth destroying a book over in itself. So unless you have a plan for how to actually save and restore the book, the best thing to do with manuscript that's found in the binding of a book is to leave it in situ or have a professional remove it for you. Preferably leave it in situ, because honestly, it's very possible these days to learn a great deal about a manuscript without even removing it from the book. There are various scientific techniques, sort of imaging techniques that can actually do this. So, okay, so we're now in a position where we can see the extent of the comb. Again, it's a good, I don't know, 2 inches maybe? But we also have 2 smaller pieces here, so it's going to be intriguing to actually find where they go. But the first thing I want to do is to see whether this section of comb will actually back onto the other section that we removed a moment ago. It would be wonderful if it were all the same document. It would be truly exciting. And I will say, I think we're in with a chance. Oh my God, look at that. Isn't that amazing? I'm thinking these are not part of the same document, but I can't be sure. Let's see. Jury's out. I think they probably... Oh. Yes, they are. Yes. It's one contiguous document. Oh, this is... Let's see if we can marry the bottom. Yes. Look at that. It's one document. Wow. There you have it, folks. The complete although undated, manuscript. There it is. I'm fascinated to know, even speculate what was off to this edge here. And what that is. There we are. I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day.